Every day after work felt the same. I'd come home, tired and drained, telling myself I just needed to relax for a few minutes. I'd sit on the couch, grab my phone, maybe put on Netflix, and suddenly, hours would pass. Before I knew it, it was 11 p.m., and I hadn't done anything meaningful. No goals moved forward, no memories made, just mindless scrolling and background noise. Sound familiar? Visual, flashbacks of evenings blending into each other. Maybe overlay a time lapse of you scrolling through your phone or lying in bed looking bored. At first, I told myself it was okay. I deserved to rest after a long day. And that's true. We all need rest. But over time, that rest turned into a habit of avoidance. I wasn't recharging, I was numbing out. I felt stuck in a loop where my evenings were disappearing, and I had nothing to show for them. Cut 2, you looking at yourself in the mirror, or lying in bed at night looking thoughtful or even slightly frustrated. I started feeling guilty at the end of each day. I knew I had things I wanted to do, hobbies I missed, goals I was putting off, even simple things like calling a friend or going for a walk. But every night, I'd lose that battle with my own comfort zone. And honestly, it started to affect my mental health. Visual, calendar pages flipping quickly or a clock ticking fast, emphasizing the passing of time. One evening, I had this moment. I looked around at the half-finished books, the unused journal, the dusty guitar in the corner, and I asked myself, is this really how I want to spend my time? That question hit hard, because deep down, I knew I wasn't living intentionally. I wasn't living in alignment with the version of myself I wanted to become. Cut 2, you sitting at a desk, opening a notebook, and writing change, or something similar. That was the beginning. I didn't change everything overnight, but I made a decision that I wouldn't keep wasting my evenings. I started small, and the results were life-changing. In this video, I'll share with you the 5 key things I did that helped me break the cycle and finally start making the most of my evenings after work. The first real change I made was creating a simple evening routine. Nothing complicated, nothing extreme, just a little structure to give my evenings direction. Visual, you writing in a journal or planner, maybe blocking out time for dinner, reading, relaxing, and sleep. At first, I resisted the idea. I thought routines were too rigid or boring. I worried that they'd make my evenings feel like work. But the truth is, a good routine doesn't restrict you. It actually gives you more freedom. Before I had a routine, I'd waste so much time just deciding what to do. I'd bounce between apps, TV shows, and random tasks, hoping something would feel right. But once I created a loose plan, something as simple as 6 p.m. dinner, 6:30 walk, 7:30 reading or hobby time, 9:30 wind down, I suddenly felt more in control. Visual, you checking off tasks or gently flowing from one activity to the next. Walking, reading, prepping your bag for the next day. It wasn't about being perfect every night. Some days I'd follow the routine closely, others I'd adjust depending on how I felt. But having that structure stopped me from falling into the endless loop of, I'll just chill for 5 minutes, which we all know turns into hours. This small step helped me make intentional choices. I was no longer reacting to the evening, I was leading it, and for the first time in a long time, I started to feel present again. Visual, you closing the planner and smiling, or sitting peacefully in a cozy room with soft lighting. If your evenings feel chaotic or empty, try building a gentle routine. It doesn't have to be strict, just enough to remind you that your time has value and you get to choose how you spend it. Let's be honest. This one hurt a little, but it made a massive difference. I had to limit my screen time, especially in the evenings. I used to tell myself I was just relaxing by checking Instagram or watching random YouTube videos, but deep down, I knew I wasn't relaxing. I was escaping escaping from boredom, tiredness, and even my own thoughts. Visual. Show a clock time lapse, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, all spent scrolling. You looking frustrated or tired. What started as just 5 minutes of scrolling often turned into hours. I'd look up and realize it was bedtime. And worse, I didn't feel rested. I felt more drained than before. Visual. You going into phone settings, turning on screen time limits or downtime, or putting your phone in a drawer, or on do, not disturb. So I decided to set boundaries. I used screen time controls to limit social media to just 30 minutes in the evening. I turned off notifications after 8 p.m. I even started keeping my phone in a different room during my unplugged hours. At first, it felt uncomfortable, even boring. But after a few days, I realized something amazing. I had so much more time, and I could finally think clearly again. Visual. You picking up a book, journaling, or simply sitting on a balcony enjoying the quiet. You look peaceful and engaged. When I reduced screen time, I didn't feel like I was missing out. I felt like I was coming back to real life. Was finally present. And that presence made my evenings so much richer. If your phone is the first thing you reach for after work, try giving yourself just 1 hour of screen-free time. You'll be surprised how much your mind and body thank you. Let me know when you're ready for Scene 5, or if you want me to compile all scenes into a single full video script. The final thing I started doing to stop wasting my evenings was ending them with intention. That means taking just a few minutes to prepare for tomorrow, not in a stressful way, but in a calm, mindful way. Visual. You writing down a few tasks for the next day, setting out your bag or work items, maybe lighting a candle while journaling. Before this habit, my nights would usually end in chaos. I'd go to bed feeling restless, wake up late, and start the next day already behind. But when I began taking just 10-15 minutes in the evening to reset, everything changed. I'd clean up my space a little, lay out my clothes, jot down 3 priorities for tomorrow. Nothing big, but these small actions gave my day a gentle ending, and my mornings a smooth start. Visual. You sipping tea or reading a calming book before bed, looking peaceful. I also used this time to slow down mentally, to disconnect from screens, reflect on how the day went, and give my mind a break. I found that this simple wind-down routine helped me sleep better, think clearer, and feel more in control of my life. We often focus so much on how we start the day, but how we end the day matters just as much. When I began ending my evenings with purpose instead of passively, watching them slip by, I felt a real shift in my mindset. Visual. You turning off the lamp beside your bed and closing your eyes with a calm expression. It doesn't take much to prepare for tomorrow, just a little time and a little care. But that little effort, it changes everything.